Kim family mansion stood tall and quiet in the early morning light. Birds sang softly outside the large window, and the smell of fresh flower filled every room. It was a beautiful home, peaceful, warm, and full of life. Lately, it had not felt very safe. Sat at the breakfast table, stirring his orange juices slowly with a spoon. He was 22-year-old with soft brown hair and warm eyes that always looked like they were thinking about something beautifully. He wore a simple cream sweater and looked like he belongs in a painting. Young father, I really don't need a bodyguard. I am not a child. Across the table, Mr. Kim set down his newspaper with a firm expression. He was a tall, serious man with gray at his temples and a heart that loved his son more than anything in the world, even if he didn't always show it gently. Mr. Kim, the Jung family has been making move against our business down. There have been threatened. This is not a discussion. Your new bodyguard started today. Tang opened his mouth to argue, but the door to the dining room opened quietly. An evening change. The man who walked in was unlike anyone Tang had ever seen. He was tall, broad shoulders, and moved with the kind of quiet confidence that made a room feel smaller. He had dark hair pushed back from off his forehead, sharp eyes that scanned every corner of the room in seconds, and a jaw that looked like it had been carved from stone. He wore a black fitting jacket, dark pants, clean shoes. He looked like someone who had never laughed a day in his life. He was 28 years old. His name was Jungkook. Mr. Kim Tae-han. This is Jungkook. He is one of the best in the field. He will be you are at all times. Jungkook gave a small, respectful bow. Jungkook, Mr. Kim, I will protect your son with my life. Then stared at him. Jungkook didn't glance at him. His eyes were still swept in the room, checking window, exit corners, then quietly, almost to himself. Well, good morning to you too. Jungkook finally looked at him. Just for a second, his expression didn't change. Jungkook, good morning, Mr. Kim Tae-han, Kim. Something about the way this man said his name looked careful, like every word was chosen and purpose made his heart do something strange. He looked back down at his orange juices and told his heart to behave. The first week was quite a little awkward. Jungkook followed him to his art studio, to his university, to the coffee shop lot near the park. He stood 3 steps behind him, always silent and watchful. He never spoke unless spoken to. He never smiled. The best friend Jin found the whole thing hilarious. They were sitting in the campus cafe, Tae-hoon with his ice vanilla plate and Jenny with an encouraged pieces of cake. And Jenny leaned across the table and stared openly at Jungkook, who stood by the wall with his arm crossed. Jin, he is so serious. Does he even blink? Jin stopped staring. Jin, I'm not staring, I'm studying. There's a difference. Whispering louder. He also very handsome. I didn't notice, Jin. You are a travel lawyer. They kicked him under the table that evening. Walking back to the car through the quiet park path, Taeyang slowed down until he was walking beside Jungkook instead of in front. Taeyang, you don't have to be so stiff all the time, you know. Jungkook, I'm doing my job, sir. Please don't call me sir. It's make me feel like an old man. Pause. Call me Taeyang. Jungkook was quiet for a moment. Jungkook, that wouldn't be procreate. Taeyang, say who? Jungkook firmly said professional standards. Taeyang looked up at the evening sky and smiled to himself. The man was impossible. Taeyang looked at him. Can I at least ask you something personal? Jungkook, you can ask. Taeyang, do you actually enjoy this job? Standing around, watching, being quiet all day? There was a pause. Taeyang thought Jungkook wouldn't answer. Then Jungkook, I enjoy knowing that the person I am protecting is safe. That's enough for me. Taeyang looked at him, then really looked at for just a second. The stone face seemed softer, something honest and quietly behind those dark eyes. Taeyang, that's a very kind way to think about it. Jungkook said nothing, but he didn't look away as fast as usual. 3 weeks later, Taeyang's cousin Jenny came to visit. She was bright and sharp with short dark hair and an opinion about everything. She arrived with shopping bags and a big hug for Taeyang and a long, curious look at Jungkook. Jenny to Taeyang quietly, your bodyguard is gorgeous. Does he came with the house? Taeyang, Jenny, I'm just saying you've been living with the best handsome man in the city and you don't even try to. Taeyang, he is my bodyguard. Jenny raised an eyebrow. And you have zero feeling for him? Taeyang didn't answer. Jenny smiled like she had just won something. The trouble came on Tuesday afternoon. Taeyang and Jenny were talking through the outdoor market near the city center with Jungkook and one other guard nearby. The market was crowded and colorful, full of flowers and fruits and the smell of warm bread. And then everything went wrong very fast. 3 men appeared from different directions, moving towards them with surprise. One of them was Jaepo, the son of Rebel Jang family. What happened next and control Jungkook moved before anyone else reacted, stepping directly in front of Taeyang. His body a wall between him and the man closing in. He spoke quietly into his impatience. Janet watched the second guard and kept him behind him with one firm hand. Jungkook, stay behind me. Do not move. Then Jungkook, trust me. The struggle was brief. Jisoo men were entrained, but Jungkook was better. He moved with careful precision, blocking and redirecting, always keeping things sealed. But near the end, one of men caught Jungkook from behind, and there was a hard impact. Jungkook took that had been meant for them. The sound of approaching security was enough to send his men running. Bennett was over. Jungkook was still standing, but barely. He had one hand pressed to his side, and when Taehyung rushed to him, his face was tight with pain. Taehyung, you are hurt. Jungkook, you are hurt. Jungkook, I'm fine. Are you okay? Are you anywhere? Taehyung, his voice breaking slightly. I'm fine. You are the one. Stop asking about me. Jungkook almost gently, making sure he was safe is my job. Taehyung looked at him with something fresh and warm all at once. You are so frustrating. Jungkook spent 2 days in the hospital, too broken, some along his side that needed. The doctor said he had been very lucky. Taehyung didn't feel like anyone had been lucky. He was there 3 every day. He brought food from Jungkook's favorite takeaway place. He had asked around, done his research. He brought a small plant for the window because hospital rooms were too grey. He sat in the chair beside the bed and read quietly or talked softly about nothing important. A movie had seen, something Jin had said, the funny shape of a cloud he noticed that morning. Jungkook watched him from the bed, propped up on pillow, trying to look like he wasn't touched by any of it. He was absolutely touched by all of it. Then, arranging food on the side table, Jin said, you are a hero. Jungkook, please tell Jin that won't be necessary. Then smile. When he won't listen, but I'll try. Pause. How's the pain today? Jungkook, manageable. Then that means it still hurt. Jungkook, a little. Then sit down and look at him with those warm, serious eyes that always made Jungkook feel like he was being read like an open book. Taehyung, Jungkook, you could have been really badly because of me. Jungkook, that's what I am here for. Taehyung, that's not. He stopped choosing his word carefully. You are not just here for them, at least not to me. Jungkook was very still, Taehyung quietly looking at his own hands. I know this is probably very unprofessional to stay, and I know you all probably give me a speech about boundaries and behavior, but I've been sitting here for 2 days watching you lie in a hospital bed because you throw yourself in front of from me and I can't. Look up, I care about you, Jungkook. More than I should, probably more than I just. Jungkook's expression wasn't battle, but something more behind his eyes, something careful and controlled and a little bit afraid. Jungkook, Taehyung, you don't have to say anything right now. Jungkook, no, he's scared. I can't. You know, I can't. Taehyung, why? Jungkook, because I am 6 years older than you, because I work for your father, because you are who you are and I am what I am. A person who was hired to stand 3 steps behind you. His voice was steady, but it cost him something. It couldn't be right. Taehyung couldn't describe what's right. Jungkook, your father, the world, common sense. Taehyung looked at him for a long moment, then he nodded once slowly and picked up his book again. Taehyung, okay, rational, I'll be here. He didn't push, he didn't argue, he just stayed, and somehow that was the things that untied Jungkook most of all. Jungkook came home to the guest room in the Kim mansion that had been his since he started the job. 4 days later, he was sitting, healing and under strict order to rest. Then took it this very seriously. We brought breakfast on a tray every morning, not dramatic, not over the top, just warm soup, fresh bread, and a small note that said something like eat everything or I'll worry all day. He sat with Jungkook in the evening and played soft music on his phone. He found a show they both liked, quiet nature documentary with their calming voice, and they watched it together. Taehyung on the chair beside the bed, Jungkook sitting up against the pillow. It was gentle, warm, comfortable in a way that friend. One evening, Taehyung came in carrying 2 cups of warm tea. He set one on the bedside table and sat down across legs on the chairs, tucked his feet under him. He was wearing an oversized gray sweater and his hair was soft, a little messy. He looked like something out of a dream. Taehyung whispered, both hands around his mouth. Can I sit with you for a while? Jungkook, you are here. Taehyung smiling, that's true. They sit quietly for a moment, the lamp making everything soft and golden. Taehyung, you know what I like about you? Jungkook, tell me. Taehyung, I'm not confessing again, I promise. I'm just talking. He glanced at him. You are honest, even when you are being difficult. You are always honest. You don't pretend to be something you are not. Jungkook looked at him. Jungkook, you are not what I expected when I took this assignment. Then what did you expect? Jungkook, someone easier to guard, someone who stays still. Taehyung laughed softly and instant you got me. Jungkook, and here for the first time the corner of his mouth lifted just barely. An instant I got you. Taehyung looked at that almost smiling and felt his whole chest filled with warmth. He reached over and gently fixed the edge of the blanket that had slipped off Jungkook's shoulders. Smoothly with them carefully, his hand moved softly, warm and safe. He didn't rush, he didn't make it into anything more than it was. Just taking care of someone. Jungkook was his hand, watched his face, watched the gentle way he moved, and then something in his chest, something he had been holding very tightly with both hands for a week now, quietly let go. Before Taehyung could pull his hand away, Jungkook reached up and held it, just held it lightly in his larger hand. His thumb moved once over Taehyung. Taehyung went very still. Jungkook, his voice low and a little rough. I know this is wrong. I know all the reason why I shouldn't. Barely breathing, but Jungkook, but I will stop it. Then he leaned forward, careful with his slow and deliberate hand, raised gently to Taehyung's forehead. Then he settled down just slightly and slightly more, and him soft and careful and warm like something he had been keeping safe for a long time. Then he pulled back. Taehyung's eyes were bright. Taehyung whispered, I've been waiting for that. Jungkook, his forehead resting against Taehyung, his voice the softest it had ever been. I know, I'm sorry it took me so long. Taehyung, don't be sorry. He smiled, and it was the most beautiful thing Jungkook had ever seen. Just don't take that long again. One week later, Taehyung knocked on the door of his father's study. Taehyung's father, can we talk? Mr. Kim looked up from his paper. He studied his son's face. The calm in the seriousness. He said, his bent down. Mr. Kim, sit down. Taehyung said, I need to tell you something, and I need you to hear all of it before you say anything, please. Mr. Kim folded his hand and waited. Taehyung, Jungkook. The study was very quiet. The clock. Mr. Kim, carefully, he is a bodyguard. Taehyung, I know what he is. Mr. Kim, he is older than you. He works for the family. This is not Taehyung's father. Gently but firmly. I know you have concern. I understand them, but I also need you to understand that what I feel is real. It didn't happen because I was being foolish or careless. It happened because he is a good person, the most honest, careful, devoted person I have ever known. Mr. Kim, Taehyung, he took that was me from me, father. He stood between me and people who wanted to use me as a piece, and he didn't think about himself forever 1 second. He only asked if I was okay. His voice was steady and warm. This is who he is, not just a bodyguard, a person who genuinely cares. Mr. Kim was quiet for a long time. His expression moved through something complicated and strict to protect the habit of control, and with all the love of a father who had watched his gentle son grow into someone quietly remarkable. Mr. Kim and Jungkook, does he feel the same? A small smile, he does. He was afraid of you. Actually, that was the main reason he kept his distance. Mr. Kim blinked. Then something shifted on his face, something that might in another person have been assuming. Mr. Kim, he was afraid of me. Then you are quiet when you want to be. Mr. Kim stood and walked to the window. He stood there for a long moment, looking out at the garden below. Mr. King, he is a good man. I choose him for that reason. Long pause. He protects you when it matters, and he always does. Another long silence. Then Mr. King turned around. Mr. King sent Jungkook to see me tomorrow morning. Then father, Mr. King, and there was something softer in his eyes now. I am not going to let him down. I want to speak to him. If he is going to be part of this family life, I want to know his heart was, and if his heart is honest, which I believe it is, then I will not stand in the way of my son's happiness. Taehyung stood up, he crossed the room and hugged his father properly, warmly, the way he had was. Taehyung, thank you, father. Mr. King patted his son back briefly, but held on one of for a moment. Mr. King, godly, you have always known your own heart, Taehyung. I should trust that more. The next morning, Jungkook stood in Mr. Kim's study with his hand behind his back and his back very straight. He was nervous. He would never have admitted it, but he was nervous. Mr. Kim, sit down, Jungkook. Jungkook said, Mr. Kim, my son spoke to me yesterday. Jungkook, yes sir, I know. I asked him to let me speak to you, Joseph, but he, Mr. Kim, he is strong. He always has been. He said to Jungkook, do you love him? Jungkook made his eyes without flinching. Jungkook, yes sir, Mr. Kim, when knowing the complete lesson, the difference in your situation, Jungkook, I was afraid of those things for a long time. I used them as a reason to keep my distance, but he paused on it. Your son has a way of making you see what's real and what's just real. Mr. Kim was quiet. Mr. Kim, you took a serious injury protecting him. Jungkook, I would do it again without hesitation. Mr. Kim, I know you would. That's not the question. He leaned forward slightly. The question is, whatever you will take care of him. Take care of him in the quiet moment when there is none. When it is simple to people choosing each other every day. Jungkook looked at him. Mr. Kim, you are no longer employed his bodyguard. I will arrange for a new security team. He stood and extended his hand, but you are welcome in this home. Jungkook as the home as his person if you treated him well. Jungkook stood and shook his head firmly. Jungkook, I promise you, Mr. Kim, with just a smallest hint of warmth. Good. Now go find him. He's been passing the hallway from the last 20 minutes. Taehyung was indeed passing the hallway. Jin was sitting on the hallway bench watching him with great entertainment. Jin, you are going to wear a path in the floor? Taehyung, if father said something terrible, what if Jungkook? Jin, please. Taehyung, I am reading. Jin, you are. Taehyung, I am. The study door opened. Jungkook stood out. He looked calm. He always looked calm. But there was something in his eyes that was different, open, light, like someone had lifted something heavy from his shoulders. He look at Taehyung, search his face. Taehyung barely able to whisper well. Jungkook crossed the hallway in a few quiet steps. He stepped right in front of Taehyung, close enough that Taehyung had to tilt his chin up to look at him. Jungkook, he said yes. Taehyung made a sound that was something between a laugh and a sob. His hand came up to press against Jungkook's chest, feeling the solid, warm reality of him. Taehyung really? Jungkook, and this time the smile reached his whole face, full and real and rare and so beautiful. Daddy. From the bench, Jin threw both arms in the air. Jin finally, this has been the longest slow burn of my entire life. I need everyone to know I suffered through this. Jin, I am simply expressing my emotions. Jungkook, without looking away from Taehyung, thank you, Jin. Jin immediately, please, you are welcome. I'm going to go tell Jenny. He disappeared down the hallway and created speed. Taehyung laughed, a full, warm, genuine laugh, and Jungkook watched it like it was something precious. Taehyung, you are smiling. Jungkook, I'm along to know. Taehyung patted his head. You were always allowed to. Jungkook softly, I know. I just need to stop being afraid first. He reached up and took a stand of Taehyung's hair back from his face. He stared slow and careful and warm. Then he cupped Taehyung's face gently in both hands, big hands, strong hands that were somehow the gentlest thing Taehyung had ever felt. Jungkook, I should have told you sooner that he paused, finding the words, that you are the best part of every day I have spent in this house, that watching you, the way you talk about things you love, the way you take care of people, the way you see good in everyone changed something in me. His thumb really tracked gently along Taehyung's cheek. You are extraordinary, Taehyung. I don't think you always know that. Taehyung, are you shining? Taehyung, he keep telling like that and I am going to cry. Jungkook, please don't. I don't know how to handle that. Taehyung laughed through the sun in his eyes. You free face down an arm man without blinking, but you are scared of my tears. Jungkook, man, don't make my heart hurt. Taehyung looked at him with so warmth. He was almost overwhelming. Taehyung, Jungkook, are you saying I make your heart hurt? Taehyung quietly and neatly every single day. Him warm, full, both hands resting against his chest. Jungkook him back gently, one hand staying up against his face, another rested like on the waist, holding him close but not trusting anything. It was sweet and soft and it felt like something settled, like two things that had always been slightly off, finally finding their right place. When they pulled apart, Taehyung rested his forehead against Jungkook's chin and Jungkook pressed to top of his head. Taehyung quietly, so what are you now if you are not my bodyguard? Taehyung, Jungkook, you are my father suggested I take some time to figure out, not step it professionally. Taehyung and personally apart, then Jungkook wrapped around him more fully. Careful, Jungkook. Personally, I think I'm yours, and if you want me, quietly he told her, I have wanted you since you walked into the dining room and didn't even say goodbye. Morning properly. Jungkook said good morning. Hyun said good morning, Mr. Kim. Very romantic. Jungkook, and there it was again, that fearful smile. I walk on it.